We celebrated yesterday Martin Luther King Day, and I would like to start my speech with his famous quote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." We witnessed lately a lot of injustices by the Turkish regime regarding minorities and dissidents, and Europe can no longer turn a blind eye on human rights violations in and outside Turkey. According to an annual report drafted by main opposition Republicans People Party, there were 3,362 deaths and 3,534 incidents of torture and maltreatment. At least 300 women were also killed by men last year, most of them victims of domestic violence. Yes, Turkey's Women's Rights Association have been raising awareness for decades about domestic violence. In the last decade, which is linked to the policies of AKP and has its roots in political Islam. Women, unfortunately, were subject to discrimination and maltreatment regarding violations of freedom of speech and human rights. The MEP's annual report showed that 719 people were detained, 32 were arrested, and 30 were convicted in 2020 for expressing critical views regarding Erdogan and AKP. Pro-Kurdish People's Democratic Party were arrested in an area. An Ankara court rejected a call by European Court of Human Rights for the immediate release of Kurdish politician Salahuddin Demirtas. Political leaders and dissidents are no longer in security in Turkey. Lately, an Ahwazi and Swedish Arab leader, Mr. Habib Asyud, who is a leader of political Arab movement, who calls for freedom and dignity and justice for the Ahwazi population in Iran, was kidnapped in Turkey and handed over to Iran by the Turkish regime. Turkish academics who now live in France and Germany are also victims of human rights violations after signing a peace petition that criticized military action in Kurdish regions in the country. The values of freedom of speech, human rights, individual freedoms, and gender equality should be respected by the Turkish government if it wants to be an ally to Europe and NATO. Europe cannot continue its fight for freedom and justice and stand for human rights without imposing these values on its economic and strategic partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you.